Or making you change buildings.
Why does this keep happening?
God damn it!
Hey, new location, same me. While being in the military, you do gotta stay flexible because you don't know what's gonna hit you.
Or making you change buildings.
God damn it!
So I did have to move into a new building, and the only problem is this. I have all these components and cables I have to deal with and have to hook up my games to my TV again. Video output may be a good topic.
What do you need in order to play video games? Of course, the gaming console, a controller, wires, and a screen. Quote unquote, a screen. This is what you look for when you want to hook up video games, and this is what you need to play video games. Television has been around since the last century. Everybody uses it to watch some good old entertainment. I mean, look at what you're watching on right now. It's became our normality nowadays, with streaming services to watch shows, movies, and even the best part, to play video games. Quote unquote, video. It's required to play video games on a television because that's the only way to play them. Just a good session with your friends or roommate to the point where they rage so hard and they happen to move out and just gave up on life. Yes, there are portable consoles like the Game Boy because it has its own screen, but for home consoles, yeah, you gotta use this thing. But in order to play the games, you gotta connect the console to a TV with a certain cable. This is what you call a video output. Without this, your console is just a brick by your TV waiting to be played. Throughout the years, video game video outputs has evolved and started out with a basic cable to a complicated one. There are different types of video cables out there, so let's start from the very beginning. Where it all started was with the arcade machines. It has a built-in console, a screen, and a controller all in just one big box. These has started to hit the scene in the early 1970s with the game installed called Pong. Later on, Pong was now available at your home with a small Pong machine. It requires a power adapter or batteries and a video output. What the hell is this? So this is a certain cable that connects to a box which has two forks which has to screw into the back of the CRT TV. Not gonna lie, I didn't even know this existed. Same thing with the Magnavox Odyssey. I could tell it was a pain to connect this back in the day, and if it broke, well then you're fucked. There may be an adapter to connect to an RF cable, but I rarely see it. Speaking of RF cable, now video game companies have moved on to the classic coax cable, also called radio frequency, or RF for short. Odyssey should have done this a long time ago. Companies that made these were Atari, Nintendo, and Sega, and a lot of Pong consoles. If you don't know what this is, then look at the back of your TV and you'll know. This has been a standard video output for video games in the 80s and early 90s. They have always been included with the consoles, and it's just a simple screw in the back, and there you go. You can play video games now. These cables also include an input on the side of the video box to connect your normal TV cable, so you can just turn off your console and continue watching TV. It may be good at times, but today it doesn't really look great on a modern TV. The video is washed out and there's barely any detail in the picture. What's happening is that all the video and audio signals are going to one wire, which can interfere with each other, causing the video to be blurry and electrical noises on the audio. If only there was another way to split these apart. Whoa, what's this colorful plug-in that I'm seeing? Well, that's an Rca cable, my good sir. Better known in the market as composite cables. These ketchup, mustard, and ranch sauces were included from the 4th to 7th generations of consoles. These cables were very common whether it's a game console from the late 90s or early 2000s, or some sort of video entertainment box like a VCR and DVD. Video and audio have their own cables so it can display a better image. These have slightly better quality on your TV, and it is what people used for retro consoles on CRT TVs. On modern day TVs, not so much. The video is still washed out and there is input lag, which can cause headaches to others, as video was later an option to play video games, which is a step up in quality. You still gotta use the red and white cables for audio, while S-Video replaces the yellow composite cable. What S-Video is doing is splitting colors from chroma, labeled C, and brightness called Luna, labeled Y, into two separate wires so you don't have to deal with that blurriness on your image, but not a lot of people use this cable because they don't know what this is. Unless you're a tech person. It was sold separately and has not been used as much as it was intended to. There's always been at least one S-Video input into your CRT TV and has been shadowed throughout the years. You may see it in earlier flat screen TVs right beside the red, blue, and green inputs. Oh look, a transition. Moving on to the component cables, which is a better version of the composite cables. It's because it's splitting the video cables into 3 different sinks. With this cable, you can output in a higher resolution from 480p up to 720p, or even 1080i for a few games. Instead of one video cable, component splits into 3 cables, which are Y, PB, PR. Of course, Y is Luma, but PB stands for blue Luma, while the PR stands for red Luma. Consoles that supported these was the 6th to 7th generations of consoles and the Wii U. See, with the S-Video component, they have a small time gap before people move on to the new video cable. Some cables can be common and some can be— Oh look, TVs are now evolving to wire and flatter display units. Oh look, there's a new port in the back. HD, which means high definition, which means a whole new cable, which is called HDMI, which means high definition multimedia interface. Wow, that was a mouthful. Instead of having a bunch of these cables that can hold the back of the TV that may collect dust to the point where they can heat up the TV and break all of a sudden, why not put it all in one cord? This is the modern video output that we have today. This was not included with the 360 and PS3, which means you would have to buy the cable separately, and people actually bought it. HDMI is now included with the 8th generation of consoles and so forth until the next big video cable solution. As an honorable mention, the Sega Dreamcast is the only console that used VGA as a display option. It's kind of weird seeing this in a console because VGA cables are commonly used for computers and monitors. I can't believe I'm putting this out there, but I gotta talk about the display port. I know this is not part of any game consoles, but maybe. For monitors that have 1440p or higher, this is a requirement to use this cable. This is mainly used for the high-end computers like gaming computers as an example. I don't know. Maybe this is going to be the next video solution if video games are going up in resolution. But wait!
Hold your horses!
HDMI is finally getting a revision called HDMI 2.0. What? So these cables are compatible supporting 1440p or 4K resolutions. But wait, there's more. They made another revision cable called the HDMI 2.1. Jesus, what's with these revisions? This cable is compatible of handling 4K but with more frame rates instead of the normal 60 frames per second. I guess the company that made these cables wanted to keep up the HDMI ports so the consumer won't have to deal with buying a different cable that has a certain connection to the TV. Which is stupid because they still have to buy a different cable for 4K. You have a lot of options for video outputs. Not only that, people are trying to find the best way to play video games on their modern TV. Yes, these options are still there, but people have found the best way to play the highest resolutions that their console can handle, especially with the retro consoles. For some that don't know, there is another option out there, but it requires to get shipped from overseas. For PAL and Japan regions, they have what they call an Rgb cable, also known as SCART in Europe or JP21 in Japan. They were available for these consoles and make the video quality incredibly sharper. I mean, look at this picture. Why can't we have that? This is the best one to make your retro consoles look way better when converted in an upscaler like the FrameMeister or OSSC. People have started utilizing this on their retro setups. Even we got people to mod some consoles to make it RGB compatible, which is insane. It may be overkill, but if you want the best quality, then get the best cable for your console. I mean, composite is fine if it's connected to a CRT TV, but on a monitor TV, there's gonna be a big delay while playing due to the TV's poor upscaling. That's why the FrameMeister and OSSC are the popular ones, because they actually convert the 240p signal to a 480p signal, or higher with the right settings. And there's even a big community for this if you guys want to check them out. So you got all these connectors, but which one is the best option? Well, let's start from the top. Today, 4K is the hot topic in the market. People want to see a crisp image while playing on their TVs, and the cable for that is DisplayPort and HDMI. But not any HDMI. It has to be the HDMI 2.0 certified. That's usually what people use for today's modern high-end consoles like the PS5 and Xbox Series. Full HD is still around, so regular HDMI for full HD experience is for the Switch, Wii U, PS3, and Xbox 360, and Xbox One and PS4 for the standard edition consoles. Some games can't even output in full HD but still has decent quality in 720p. Components, especially for the NTSC regions, are the Wii, GameCube, PS2, and the original Xbox. That's what these consoles can handle and still gives enhanced definition on 480p, maybe 720p and 1080i if some games are compatible on the PS2 or Xbox. Going down to the retros before the 2000s, S-Video is your best bet for the 240p games and or 480i games. You still have the sharpness to the video qualities and no noises on the corners. Yes, not all TV has it. Mainly older flat screen TVs and CRTs, and if composite is your only option, then composite it is, unless you're able to mod your consoles. But when your console is officially fully modded to RGB, then you're on a roll. Your retro games looks amazing and just
It's kind of what we're talking about this, how there's a lot of different options out there. Even the retro gamers will go out of their way just to get the best solutions for the retro consoles. Like I mentioned before, there is a big community when it comes to getting the best quality out of your retro games. I did take a look at that, and I bought a video game upscaler.